Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the hardest working man in daily fantasy sports, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Late night at the restaurant, was in the barbershop cutting hair all day, just barely got the core four out. We had some technical difficulties on the information technology side. Was able to get that done just in time to get the core four out to the all the cats in the Facebook VIP, as well as everybody that's been subscribing to the DFSSweatshop.com website. Real quick, we had our first tournament, kind of our in-house Facebook VIP tournament. I also released it on Twitter, and we had a really good showing. The last couple of days, we were having trouble getting the 200 entries to fill up, but we did tonight for the full 5-game slate. Excuse me, the full 7-game slate. We ended up getting the whole 100 filled in there, and we had a pretty good showing, pretty good tournament. It was a really fun experience, and we are looking forward to doing many more of these. And just want to throw a quick shout out to the homie Big Dub 2020. He went out and represented in the DFS Sweatshop. He is the DFS Sweatshop king tonight. Went out and scored 321.75 DraftKings points. Had a really nice lineup. He started James Harden, Brandon Knight, which really wasn't a great play for him, but he had Andrew Wiggins, Marvin Williams in a really nice matchup. He started the Hernan Gomez fella from the New York Knicks. That was a gutsy play. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kevin Durant, and Dwight Howard. So tonight, Big Dub 2020, you are the king of the sweatshop. We're going to get together and do it again tomorrow. Now we're going to go with our regular formatting of the show. I know there's going to be a lot of football talk and a lot of football stuff going on tomorrow, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. Let's go ahead and jump into my Core 4 review. Like I tell you all the time, I do this so that you can have that transparency and see that the guys that I'm talking about are the guys I'm playing. The hits are mine, the misses are mine. That's just the way I do it. So we're going to start with a play that I really liked all day long. When I first saw the slate layout, and I saw that the Charlotte Hornets were going to be facing the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hawks were going to be at home. We know that we can attack Charlotte rebounding the ball, so that's why I went with Dwight Howard as probably my most solid core 4 play. I had him in just about 90% of all of my entries tonight, and he went out at 7K flat. He brought back 43.25 DraftKings points at about 20% ownership, so a lot of people were on him. Very good play from him. He did exceed that 6x value for us. The next play was a guy that I really liked. Didn't think the ownership was going to be as high on him as it was. And in a 10-game slate, an 8-game slate for that matter, it probably wouldn't have been this high because a lot of people have been down on him lately. But Kemba Walker, coming off of that game, that day of rest after a couple of bad games, he had a personal issue and didn't play. But he played tonight and played well. At 7.1 in salary, he had 43.5 DraftKings points, about 18% ownership. He did exceed that 6x value for us. Really nice play was Kemba Walker. The next play we're going to talk about is Reggie Jackson. Now, I knew he was in line for a big game at some point, and this isn't even as big a game as I thought we're going to see from him later on down the road. And at 5.4K, he scored 40.25 DraftKings points, was actually the best play inside of the core 4. He was only 11% owned, so that was a really nice play in Reggie Jackson. And the worst play of the core 4 was easily the biggest risk. And you know me, I'm a tournament player. I take these risks because I feel like if one guy falters, the others can pull him up and help the core 4 as a unit get that 6x value. That's what we want. I want 4 plays that are going to give me 6x value, and I'll let the other 4 plays come from the industry and from the injuries. So Danilo Gallinari was that last play, and at 5.6K, he brought back 21 DraftKings points. Not a good showing from him at all. If this guy does anything, I am in a much better position tonight. But because the rest of the guys in the core 4 was so solid, I did have a profitable DFS night. Didn't double my buy-in, but I did make a couple in turn. So This core four, the target on him, I believe the combined salary was about 25.1K, and that is perfect for my core. If I can get my core uh, right around 25K and still have that their other 25K in salary to play with, I can pay up in different spots and still get those studs that a lot of us are going to be on when it comes to big studs that are chalk plays. So 25.1K was a really nice amount to spend on this core four. Um, don't get me wrong, it could have been better. And we wanted them to bring back 150.6 DraftKings points in order to meet that 6x value. Well, this core 4 brought back 148 DraftKings points. So I fell shy of the desired 6x value by 2.6 points. That's a few rebounds. I exceed 6x value. So really good showing from the core four. If you did use them tonight and you put the right pieces around them, there's no doubt in my mind you are standing in the winner's circle and you are around, definitely around the cash line. Now we're going to jump into the feature four players of the night. These are the most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the Facebook VIP, as well as on Twitter. We're going to start with the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. And this is going to go to Swaggy P. Swaggy went out at 3% owned, 4.1K, and dropped 45 DraftKings points. Dude had a monster game, was unconscious, knocking him down. You know he doesn't do much else. So if you see him scoring this much, you knew he was doing it by shooting the ball and scoring the basketball. The how did I miss that play tonight goes especially for me. I had zero Karl Anthony Towns, and he had a monster game. At 12% in ownership, 8.7K, he goes out and brings you back 68.25 DraftKings points. If you had him in your lineup, you were definitely crossing the cash line tonight. Now we're going to talk about the heat check play tonight. And just for the simple fact that the DFS sweatshop only tournament that we did today was hosted and had all 7 games, we've got to give a proper look and a proper notice to the heat check player tonight, Mr. Russell Westbrook. 50th career triple-double, a big one at that. Goes out at 30% ownership. Everybody was on him. He had he had 68.25 DraftKings points. Excuse me. He had 81 DraftKings points at 12.7K. An excellent game for Russell Westbrook. And now we get to that one motherfucker. The one motherfucker who, if you took a chance on him, he ruined your lineup. This is a dude who, this is his second time this early in the season being the snowflake of the night, which really shows the inconsistencies in his game, especially when he goes up against top-notch talent or top-notch teams. Now, this team is now currently on a 6-game losing streak, so you need to get your shit together. This is your last warning. So Dame Dollar, Big Game Dame, you a motherfucking snowflake again with your snowflake ass. How the fuck do you go out in prime time, late night hammer stacks against Chef Curry, right? Against Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. This team has this team just got beat by the Memphis Grizzlies. How do you go out after being on a 5-game losing streak, knowing this is a must-win situation for you, to just prove yourself as a real contender in the Western Conference, and you go out and you shit yourself at 14% ownership, 9.1K, I think the highest salary we've seen on you all year, and bring back 25.5 DraftKings points. Man, you got to be motherfucking bullshitting, man, with your snowflake ass. And tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake. Snowflake ass. Let's get on with the rest of the show. Let's do a quick recap from last night's 7 games. We are going to start with the first game on the slate. That is the Oklahoma City Thunder at home against the Phoenix Suns. This was not a very good game. The score was a little closer than it looked. The game was well in hand the entire time. On the Phoenix side, we saw a really nice game from Devin Booker. You know, this guy just does enough in peripherals, but when he scores 30-something points, it's hard to deny him as a solid fantasy option. In 33 minutes, he had 31 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. Pretty good game from him. Not a good game at all from Eric Bledsoe. In his 30 minutes, he only had 12 points to go with 3 boards and 4 assists. Not a great game from him. We didn't see much else. Tyson Chandler fell 1 rebound shy of a double-double bonus, but he did have a steal and 10 points to go with the 9 rebounds. Not a great game at all. Marcus Chris, 8 and 8 to go with 1 assist and 1 block. Didn't see much from PJ Tucker, and we saw a limited action from TJ Warren. He only played 14 minutes and had 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 block. On the Oklahoma City side, probably one of the best games we've ever seen individual play, with Russell Westbrook career high in assists at 22, had 11 boards and 26 points to go with 2 steals and 1 block. Nice game from him. Domantas Sabonis, he started off very hot, but finished with 9 points and 4 rebounds to go with 1 steal. Not a great game from him. Enes Kanter in his 13 minutes had 12 points and 5 boards to go with an assist and a block. And we saw a decent game from Steven Adams, man. In 29 minutes, he had 19 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Pretty good game from him. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Detroit Pistons at home against the Indiana Pacers. Now, Jeff Teague really surprised me this game. Going up against Reggie Jackson, who was kind of not fully healthy yet, but he did have a really great game. We're looking at 19 points and 9 rebounds to go with 8 assists and 2 steals. Damn near a triple-double for Jeff Teague. We saw a pretty good game from Glenn Robinson III, 12 rebounds and 12 points. Nice game from him. And Paul George, he had a decent game, but not like a great Paul George game. He had 26 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Didn't see much from Miles Turner in his 27 minutes. He had 10 points and 5 boards to go with an assist and 2 blocks. And not too much else to speak about on the Indiana side. Thad Young, 12 and 2 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. On the Detroit side, we saw a snowflake game from Andre Drummond. He grabbed 15 boards and had a horrible game. If you're telling me, hey man, I'm gonna roster Andre Drummond tonight, and guess what? He's gonna grab 15 boards. I'm taking him. But this dude cannot score. He cannot score. He had 9 points to go to 15 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. KCP has continued his hot shooting, man. He's playing very well. I believe Van Gundy really likes KCP and is going to give him the green light to go ahead and kind of be a leader on this team. He had 36 minutes and 20 points to go with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Nice game from him. The aforementioned Reggie Jackson in his 29 minutes had 19 and 3 to go with 10 assists and 1 steal. He did meet that double-double bonus for us. Tobias Harris, decent game in his 31 minutes. He had 13 and 7 to go with 2 assists. The next game we're going to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers at home against the LA Lakers. If I thought for 1 minute that this game was going to be close, I would have definitely stacked the Cleveland offense in this game. Saw it being a blowout. The spread was about 11.5 points, so I really didn't have any of these guys in my lineup. Let's start on the Lakers side. Brandon Ingram, dude, played 40 minutes and had 9 points, 10 boards, and 9 assists, almost a triple-double. This dude's going to be something special. I like Brandon Ingram a lot. He's just going to be very inconsistent because he's so young, but once we really get a read on what he can do, the DraftKings pricing isn't going to be able to catch up fast enough to this guy. Luol Deng had 15 and 8 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. Pretty good game we saw from Nick Young, of course. The who dat scoring them points over there. Man, this dude had 32 points, but he had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Didn't do much else, but just dropped 32 points. Nice game from him. Jordan Clarkson, in his 30 minutes, had 20 and 5 to go with an assist. Pretty good game from him. And Sweet Lou Williams had 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 block, and 12 points. On the Cleveland side of the ball, the big three really got it in, man. They started off slow, and the game was actually a game, but LeBron finished with 9 assists, 7 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 26 points. We saw 17 rebounds and 27 points from Kevin Love to go with 4 assists and 1 steal. And Kyrie had a really nice game, 21 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. Decent game from him. Didn't need to see much else off of the Cleveland bench, as there really wasn't much else to see. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves at home against the Houston Rockets. This was probably the most entertaining game of the night because it looked for a moment like the Houston Rockets were just going to get the doors blown off of them. We saw a big game from James Harden, almost a triple-double. He had 28 and 9 rebounds to go with 13 assists and 1 steal. Pretty good game from him. We saw a really nice game from Eric Gordon off of the bench. He had 20 and 6 boards to go with 4 assists and 2 steals. Ryan Anderson chipped in 28 points and 6 rebounds to go with 3 steals and 1 block in his 35 minutes. Clint Capella, man, I think this guy's going to be falling out of the rotation, man. He only had 10 and 4 and played 15 minutes. Clint Capella is not what we thought he was going to be this season. Trevor Ariza, 11-5 to go with 3 steals. On the Minnesota side, we saw a monster game uh, from Karl Anthony Towns. Man, he was the highlight. I missed that play. He had 15 rebounds, 41 points, 5 assists, and 1 block. Great game from him. Pretty nice game we saw from Zach LaVine, 24 and 2 rebounds to go with 6 assists and 1 steal. Didn't see much else off of the Minnesota side. Uh, Andrew Wiggins, he played 43 minutes. He led the team in minutes, but only had 13 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Pretty good game we saw from Rick Rubio. Didn't reach double figures in any category, but he touched almost all of them. He had 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists to go with 4 steals. Nice game from Ricky Rubio. The next game we're going to get into is going to be my New York Knicks traveling to Denver to take on the Nuggets. This is the one I got wrong because there was a guy in this game who I kind of liked in a lot of different spots, but I was just so set on rostering Gallinari to kind of play that revenge role against the Knicks that I really overlooked this guy in some spots where I shouldn't have, and that was Kenneth Faried, man. He came off of the bench in 28 minutes, and he had 25 points and 7 rebounds to go with 2 assists and 3 blocks. This is on 10 of 11 shooting. Great game from him. Nikolai Jokic in his 20 minutes had 10 and 9 rebounds to go with 5 assists. Foul trouble is becoming a major downfall for this guy, man. He can't stop hacking people. Uh, Emmanuel Mudiay, he had a really good game in 22 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal for him. We saw Danilo Gallinari, who we talked about, for 27 minutes. He had 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists, and he was in the running to be one of the snowflakes of the night tonight. On the New York Knicks side of the ball, we saw a decent game from Carmelo Anthony. He didn't do much in the way of the defensive stats, but he did have 29 points with 4 boards, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Porzingis kind of underwhelmed in his 37 minutes. He had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals for him. Brandon Jennings in a starting role had 14 and 7 assists to go with 3 steals. But actually, the play of the game, the value play of the day, was in this game, and it was Hernan Gomez, man. He had 17 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. And most of this was in scrub love. How could we see that coming? That's our job, to see things like that before they happen. The next game we're going to get into, and the last game on the slate, is going to be the Golden State Warriors beating the shit out of Dame Dollar with his snowflake ass and the rest of the Portland Trailblazers. This was never a game from the beginning. They kicked their ass from tip off to getting back on the bus, man. It was horrible. We saw 30 minutes of Maurice Harkless. He had 17 and 1 rebound to go with 2 steals and 2 blocks. Lillard did score 20 points, but he had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal in his 30 minutes. CJ McCollum was really not shooting well in this game. In 25 minutes, he had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists with a block. Didn't see much else from the Portland side of the ball. Mason Plumlee, man, he's been on a really nice stretch of games, but he only played 17 minutes in this one because that's what Golden State does. They take your center off the floor by playing so small. On the Golden State Warriors side, excellent game from Kevin Durant. In his 30 minutes, he had 34 points, 11 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Saw a really nice game from Ian Clark and Scrub Love. He had 23 and 2 rebounds to go with 4 assists and 1 steal. Steph Curry, these guys kind of snowflaked out, but it was because of the blowout. It was just a blowout, and there was no need to have these guys on the floor. Now, we did see a double-double from Draymond Green. He only had 3 points, but he had 12 rebounds and 13 assists to go with a block. Pretty nice game from Draymond Green. Now, let's just go ahead and jump straight into some player pricing for tomorrow's slate. Now, I believe the games start tomorrow at 3:30. First game is going to be the LA Clippers at Washington. So we're going to get an early slate, early day. We're going to have some football tomorrow. I know a lot of you are going to be, getting your DraftKings, your FanDuel lineups in football, and you're also going to be watching some basketball after that. So let's just go ahead and jump quick into the player pricing, just so we can get an idea of what we have to look forward to for tomorrow. Remember, on short slates like this, and the main slate on DraftKings tomorrow is a 5-game slate. Now, we do have 2 early games in the 3:30, but the 5-game slate is where the bigger tournaments are. And that's where I'm going to be doing the most of my playing. And anytime we're on a 5-game slate, you know what we're doing. Somebody stay. We're stacking. We're definitely stacking. So we're going to look at maybe a stack or 2 just to get a good look at what we want to do tomorrow when it comes to our roster construction. There will be no core four tomorrow. I'm not gonna be irresponsible and say, "Hey, this is my core four," when I'm not playing a core four. I'm not. I'm just gonna be stacking offenses that I like. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the player pricing for tomorrow. I'm gonna plug everyone here. Now, we all can see we've got Anthony Davis as the most expensive player on the slate at 10.8K. Uh, Going up against San Antonio, he was questionable. He is questionable because he did not play the entire game the last time out, so that's kind of takes him out of consideration for me. So especially if he doesn't play, we can definitely like jump in on a cheap New Orleans stack. This is something to think about. We've got Kyle Lowry at 8.6 going up against Orlando. The DVP is really favoring the Orlando Magic, but Kyle Lowry is a really great player. I think we still can use him tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard at 8.4K. That's a good play there. Hassan Whiteside is probably going to be the chalkiest play on the slate at 8.3. We've got DeMar DeRozan at 8.2. Going up against Evan Fournier. I like him tomorrow. We've got Gordon Hayward at 7.6 against Memphis in the first-ranked DVP against small forwards. We got Marc Gasol in the same game, very slow pace, 7.4. Isaiah Thomas at 7.3 against Miami. Goran Dragic is a really nice play, 7.2. I like him. Joel Embiid, man, on a small slate like this, he's going to have to be in play for us at 7.2. The price is down 300 on him. Brook Lopez, 7.1, going up against Joel Embiid. The fact that Embiid is going to see a minutes limit, and this game is probably going to be close, kind of has me leaning towards Brook Lopez at 7.1. I think he's going to be able to have a good game. Rudy Gobert at 6.9 going up against Marc Gasol. I don't like that too much. Al Horford 6.8 going up against Whiteside. I kind of like that. George Hill, we need to check and see if he's still going to be out. LaMarcus Aldridge at 6.4 could be a decent play. Serge Ibaka 6.3 against Toronto could be a good play. Drew Holiday 6.3. Mike Conley. And see, on a short set like this, you got to ignore some things that we count as law. Like, I don't believe people against San Antonio. Well, the slate is too damn short for you to totally just fade everything from this game. We've got to look deeper into these games. And the reason why we do the stacking is because, stacking offenses allows you to gain exposure to guys that you wouldn't normally roster. You just wouldn't normally do. Nikolai Vucevic at 6.2 coming off of that great game he had. We got Mike Conley going up against Utah. He's going to be seeing some Shelvin Mack defense or some Dante Exum defense. I like him, but the minutes may still be restricted. We need to check on that. Evan Fournier at 6.1. I like him. Avery Bradley at 6K, not so much. Trevor Booker can be a good play against Philadelphia. Ersan Ilyasova, 2. Gino Okafor at 5.7 is in play. I'm liking a little Philadelphia stack in this game. Just off first glance on this slate, I'm liking a little Philadelphia stack because that'll allow me to pay up for Whiteside on the back end. We've got Jay Crowder at 5.6. That looks nice against Miami. Jeremy Lin, of course, at 5.6 is going to be in play tomorrow. Robert Covington at 5.6 is in play. Paul Gasol, he is definitely in play at 5.6 against Alexis Ajinça or Omar Ashik. He's in play. Elfrid Payton at 5.5. He's in play against the Toronto Raptors. Tyreke Evans, man, he got a few minutes last time. You need to monitor that and see where it's at with him. Sean Kilpatrick, I do not like him as much since Jeremy Lin came back. We're going to see his usage slip quite a bit. Tim Frazier's in play at 5.3. Rodney Hood at 5.1 is in play against, is not in play for me against Tony Allen. I don't like him at all. Aaron Gordon, 5.1. He is trending upward, so I think he will be in play. Jonas Valanciunas, Zach Randolph at 5K. Michael Green, Sergio Rodriguez at 4.8. Bojan Bogdanovic, 4.7. Tony Allen is 4.6. Derek Favors, he's still in the minutes restriction at 4.5. Josh Richardson, 4.5. James Johnson, Justice Winslow, 4.4. We got Shelvin Mack at 4.3. Going up against the first-ranked team against point guards. Pat at 4.2. Patty Mills, 4.2. That's a nice price on Patty Mills. Jeff Green is at 4K. That's a nice price on him. Nerlens Noel, we need to check on his limit. He may be on a minutes limit at 4K, and that is a crowded front court in Philadelphia. Tony Parker at 4K, definitely in play. Norman Powell. So we've got to look deep in order to really come up with a roster that we're going to be completely comfortable with tomorrow. Trey Lyles at 3.6, that looks pretty good. Buddy Hield 3.6. We've got to look deeply. So let's go ahead and jump into the point totals very quickly. We're gonna breeze through these real quick because I know tomorrow's gonna be chock full of NFL. I'm gonna have me a couple lineups in myself. We're gonna start with the LA Clippers going to Washington to take on the Wizards. This is a 216 point total with the LA Clippers giving up 5 points to the Washington Wizards. This game is not going to be on the DraftKings main slate. It may be on some FanDuel stuff. Right off the top, I like both point guards in this game. John Wall, I like him because they're at home, and I like Chris Paul just because he's Chris Paul. If I had to go anywhere when it came to the front courts of both teams, I would definitely go DeAndre Jordan. I like DeAndre Jordan in this game. I like him more than I like Blake Griffin, actually. I really think we're going to see a problem for the Clippers when it comes to guarding on the wing. I know we got Luke Mbamute, but he's been out the last couple of games. And if you're telling me that they're going to start 3.3 guards, you're gonna start Paul Reddick and the coach's son going up against Otto Porter and maybe Markieff Morris. I kind of like those guys to win that matchup. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Sacramento Kings traveling to the Dallas Mavericks. This game does not have a point total associated with it. We do have some injuries and maybe some absences on the Sacramento side. I know Boogie is looking at maybe some disciplinary action from the league, so we need to be checking up on that. But if he plays, I like him. If he plays, he's gonna ball out. If he does play, uh, Matt Barnes is in play. Rudy Gay, we still don't know the story with him. If he's going to be coming back, I think he should be out again tomorrow. So that would make way for guys like Anthony Tolliver and Costa Kufas, definitely Willie Cauley-Stein. There's some front court players from Sacramento that can definitely be in play tomorrow against Dallas. Now Andrew Bogut is going to be out, so we're probably going to see Salah Mejri and a lot of Dwight Powell. Now, on the Dallas side, when it comes to the perimeter, I do like Darren Williams in this game. Now, he's going to be seeing a lot of Darren Collison defense. Darren Collison is a solid defender, but Darren Williams is a veteran, savvy guy. He's going to find a way to impact the game positively. So I do like Deron Williams tomorrow. The next game we're going to talk about is the lowest point total on the slate. It is the Utah Jazz traveling to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. It is 185.5 point total with the Utah Jazz giving up 1.5 points to the Memphis Grizzlies. So they are a home dog. That immediately makes me think of who on Memphis is going to be juiced up for playing at home and to get over that 1.5 point spread. I like Tony Allen in this game. His matchup against Rodney Hood should be favorable, definitely in his favor. I also like on the Memphis side, I think we can look to Marc Gasol because he's expanded his game and he's shooting the jump shot. He could be able to draw Gobert away from the basket, so I definitely like Marc Gasol tomorrow. On the Utah side, the only player that I would really be interested in, because I know we're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see a full allotment of minutes of Mike Conley, is maybe a value play when it comes to the point guard position. Shelvin Mack, most notably, would be somebody who I would think would see a lot of usage and safe ball handling in this game. Gordon Hayward, man, he went on this streak where he was like scoring 20 points for like 6 games straight, and we didn't see a really great game from him last time out. So maybe he turns that around. I'm not so sure. This is the lowest point total on the slate, so I will not have a lot of exposure to this game altogether. The next game we're going to talk about is the Boston Celtics going to Miami to take on the Heat. This is a 201.5 point total, with the Boston Celtics being the favorite, giving up 4 points to the Miami Heat. I instantly like Isaiah Thomas and Goran Dragic in this matchup. I think Horford can be a decent play. He's probably going to see low ownership because people are going to see Hassan Whiteside across from him and not want to take a flyer and roster that guy. But I do like Al Horford. I think Whiteside is going to be the chalkiest play of the night. If you fade him and he doesn't play well, you're going to really separate yourself. But if you fade him and he does play well, you will be separated from the rest of the field. So I think it'd be safe to get some Whiteside in your lineups. Also, on the Boston side, I think we can see a decent game from from Jay Crowder. I kind of like Jay Crowder in this game. I think they're gonna need more than just than just uh, Isaiah Thomas to really be competitive in this game and to make that -4 really work. So I do like Jay Crowder. He can shoot the outside shot and also go down low and get some rebounds when he has to. So I do like Jay Crowder. If I had to pick three guys from this game, period, it would be Dragic, Crowder, and Whiteside. The next game we're going to talk about is the highest point total on the slate. It is the Toronto Raptors giving up 5.5 points to the Orlando Magic. Orlando is at home. They're a home dog. It's a 217.5 point total. This is probably the game that I'm going to have the most players invested in. This game and the next one we're going to talk about. But I like Kyle Lowry. I like DeMar DeRozan more than Lowry. I love DeRozan this game. And you know, if you watch the show, you know I really like DeRozan. But I think against Evan Fournier, man, he is a lock to get 6x value. I also like Evan Fournier a little bit. And we can also look to Nikolai Vucevic off of the bench. It's been shown, it's been proven, he is still getting starters minutes off of the bench. So we can definitely roll with Nikolai Vucevic. And he's playing up against a lot of second team guys. So we're talking about, not Valanciunas he's playing up against. We're talking about him playing up against Patrick Patterson. We're talking about him playing up against, you know, uh, uh, Pirtle, Siakam, those guys. And they're not going to be a match for Nikolai Vucevic. So I definitely think we can roll Vucevic tomorrow. Tomorrow's looking like a two-center slate, actually, where we get one in the flex and one in the center spot. On the Toronto side, DeMar Carroll is a big no for me. And back to Orlando, we can look at Aaron Gordon. I think that's going to be a way I stack. I can go four deep on this. I can go because you're gonna get exposure to both teams, the second team and the first team. You go Aaron Gordon, you go Elfrid Payton, you go uh, Evan Fournier and Vucevic. I mean, you can definitely do that. This is a 217 point total. The spread is not that huge, man. And Orlando is the home dog, so they're gonna want to come out and play well, being the underdog and also being at home. So I do like a lot about the Orlando side of this Toronto and Orlando Magic game. The next game we're gonna talk about is the Brooklyn Nets traveling to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. This is a 215.5 point total, with the Philadelphia Sixers being the home favorite. They are giving up 2.5 points to the Brooklyn Nets. I think there's a lot of fantasy goodness in this game too, but these are two bad teams, and they're gonna miss a lot of shots. It's gonna be a lot of rebounds. It's gonna be a lot of running. It's gonna be a lot of steals. It's gonna be a lot of defensive stats, and it's gonna be a lot of scoring too, because a few guys on this team can actually shoot. One of my favorite plays from the Philadelphia side is gonna be a value play, and it is Gerald Henderson. I really like Gerald Henderson in this game. This is the kind of game that he plays well in, because it's going to be a lot of shots. He's going to take a lot of shots, and he's going to hit a lot of shots. So I like Gerald Henderson in this game just off first glance. We can definitely look to Joel Embiid. Now, normally, you know how I feel about rostering Embiid. The price is down on him about 7.1K, 7.2, so he's down 300. And it's such a short slate that there's not many directions you can go when it comes to stacking offenses. And if you're going to stack Philadelphia's offense in any way, shape, or form, you may as well go ahead and throw Joel Embiid in there. Now, is he going to see, a lot of minutes? But Brook Lopez is a soft center, bro. He can go down and bang and really get to it real quick against Brook Lopez. And then Brook Lopez is going to come and clean up later on after that, because Embiid is on that minutes limit. So I do like Embiid tomorrow, and I do like a Philadelphia stack to go with as a cheaper stack to go with a high price player. Say you wanted to get Boogie in your lineup, you can stack Philadelphia, grab Boogie at the top. Say you wanted to go with Kawhi or maybe Anthony Davis if he plays, you could definitely stack Philadelphia and go up and grab one of those top flight studs at a higher price. So I do like a Philadelphia stack. On the Brooklyn side, we talked about Jeremy Lin already. I like him. The price is still low on him. I think Trevor Booker can be a decent play. I'd even like Brook Lopez some in this game as well. The only guy that I'm completely off is Kilpatrick. I'm not going to be rostering any Kilpatrick tomorrow. Jeremy Lin sucks up so much usage that is hard for anybody else. That is only the guy that's going to be on the floor when Jeremy Lin is not on the floor is going to have a shot at having a lot of usage. So he's going to be out there with Jeremy Lin, so I do not think Sean Kilpatrick is going to be a play that I go to very much tomorrow, if at all. The next game we're going to talk about, and the last game on the slate, is the New Orleans Pelicans traveling to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. Now, this game does not have a point total as of yet because the San Antonio Spurs, excuse me, because the New Orleans Pelicans are dealing with the Anthony Davis injury. We're not sure yet if he's going to be playing. It's the last game on the slate. All kind of tricks can ensue. We can get popped on a Sunday. I'm not fucking with this game, bro. And that's just me being honest, telling you the truth. Like, I'm not fucking with this game. I want nothing to do with this game at all. I think there's going to be enough meat on the bone in the first 4 games for me to go ahead and stack a few offenses I like, grab a couple of one-offs, maybe one cheap, one high, and go ahead and try to hit the 300 club. So this has been your DFS Jerusalem, bringing to you yet another installment of the DFS Sweatshop YouTube show. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Sweatshop, at DFS Jerusalem. If you want to support the show, don't get me wrong, you're doing it now in the purest form. You're giving me your views, your likes, your comments. You are spending time with me. You are supporting the show in its purest form. But if you wanted to further support the show, there's a box over there or over there. Haven't figured out where it's at yet, but you see it. You can go and click that box and let it take you wherever you have to go. You can also hit up my personal PayPal at simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com. You can definitely join the DFS Sweatshop website family. And we've got some really cool stuff, man. Some sweatshop swag, man. The t-shirts and the hoodies. A lot of folks have been copping them, actually. So thank y'all for those of you who have been supporting the movement so far. Remember, in the DFS Sweatshop, there's only one thing that I demand of you, and that's to go out and keep it 300.